What's up, everybody? Good morning, and it is Friday. Yes, finally, this is the end of the week, and welcome to my live stream. My name is Jimmy Cheng. I'm a professional photographer, filmmaker, and an Olympus ambassador. So if you're new here, this show is all about, photography, filmmaking, and of course, Michael Forther, in particular, Olympus gears. Right, welcome back, and today we have a special talk about certain features that is very popular among all digital mirrorless or interchangeable cameras these days. It is image stabilization. Right, let's go through a little bit of a structure. If you're new here, you're not familiar with how we conduct this live stream every morning. Is that good morning, Barana? Good afternoon there, right? And so this is live, of course. It's not pre-recorded, so I'm doing everything as we speak at the moment, so error can happen. So that if you can't hear me, you can't see me, or for whatever reasons, just drop me a message, and through the comment box I will be able to see it, and hopefully I will be able to fix it accordingly. But so welcome. This live stream, of course, is public as well, so that means that everybody can see around the globe, and I usually also utilize this opportunity to give an update to my friends and family around the globe, so they can catch up later on or watch it live, whatever they want to do, and to know that we are doing quite okay in London. So let's go through this structure that I just talked about first, and let's see. So we usually follow some kind of topics like these. Here we go. There you go. So we have a general update, which is what I told you about. I'm going to update my friends and family around the globe, and also we have a topic to discuss, and then Q&A. But because this is a live show, and Q&A can be anytime. I'm not going to restrict you from just waiting until the end of the talk and to talk about or ask me anything. You can just ask me as and when I speak about something that may catch your attention to something, or you don't understand certain thing. Then you just drop something in the comment box, and I'll be able to pick up and answer accordingly. Okay, all sounds good. Oh, good morning, Brad. Good morning, Trevor. Yes, hello. Wow, we got a family going on here. That's pretty cool. Excellent. So let's give you a general update. And as you know, well, if you're only in the UK, if you're from anywhere else in the globe, that you probably would know that we have a slight ease of lockdown as of Wednesday. We are now encouraged to go back to work if you cannot work from home, so to speak. So I've been told that from a lot of friends who are heading out, they told me that traffic is increasing on the road. Public transport, is queuing up, and you can see from the news as well. Things maybe gently trying to get back to normal, so to speak. Although that they still really encourage you to stay home. If you can work from home, just don't go out at all. Like the work that I'm doing now, unless I have to photograph a client at the premises or in outdoor in certain areas, so that means that I will be able to go out and do that type of shoot. So hopefully I will be going to get some jobs back, but you never know. People might still a little bit cautious about social distancing and this COVID-19 issues in general. So it's very hard to tell whether a job is going to come back to me anytime soon. So let's fingers crossed, let's hope for the best, and then I'll be able to get back to work very soon. I'll be able to use my camera. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Excellent. So now I'm going to go through the topic now, because so that's the update, by the way. So the topic of the day is, let me just get rid of the topics. And we need the structure here. It is camera IBIS versus lens IS. Okay, right. IBIS actually stands for in-body image stabilization. Well, by the name suggests, this stabilization system is actually inside the camera body. It's actually invented by Olympus. Yay, there you go. And then the lens IS, the IS stands for image stabilization, is actually a mechanism within the lens itself. They were very popular kind of application for longer tele lenses back in the 80s and 90s, when Canon and Nikon starting to introduce their versions of image stabilization in the longer zoom series. But it became so effective, they started to introduce to wider zooms. So like they started with all the long tele lenses have ISs, and then they eventually moved down to 7200 range, which is a lot of pro users for kind of general sports and tele portrait, that kind of applications. So they introduced IS, or in Nikon's world will be the VR vibration reduction. So, they all have their own name. Then after that, they shift it down to the wider end, which is the 24 to 70s, or the 24 to 105. In Canon terms, they had the VR or the IS for that particular range of focal lengths. So it was widely used in many applications because there are a lot of benefits to it. Despite they increase the size dramatically. If you look at the back in the old days, they look at the 70 to 200, for instance. As an example, the Canon 70 to 200 IS compared to the non-IS version, the size is quite a bit of difference in terms of weight as well. There's about 200-300 grams difference. So there are still a lot of photographers don't really need to use IS, because the thing is, if you are if a big sports photographer, you still have to use shutter speed, to freeze the action at the moment. So when you get up to, like, let's say 1/500, 1/800, 1/2000, that kind of speed, shooting at 2.8 or f4, the IS doesn't really come into it. It only really helps when you're starting to shoot slower shutter speed, like let's say 1/200, 1/150 at the tail end, at the long end, yeah. But at that time, you're not really freezing the frame that much, depending on how close you are with the subject or how fast the subject is moving. So you kind of see that the application there. IS, however, is very useful for let's say moving things or panning things. So that's why, like, in the old days, the tele lenses, they have the option to stabilize in certain axes, like X or Y axis. So you can do vertical pan or horizontal pan. That is all, you can just fix one, so it's easier to control. So that's okay. I mean, that's not too bad. I can see the applications there. But if you're having both X and Y, like I mentioned, if you are shooting something very fast, and you will need to have faster shutter speed, so it really doesn't come into it. Most people use that sort of lenses are for sports or fast-moving objects, so to speak. But then later on, during the YouTube booming era, a lot of YouTubers starting to pop up everywhere, especially when the Canon starting to introduce cinematic filming, through their 5D camera series, and one of their lenses, the 24 to 105 IS, were among the most popular lenses in that era. People were using that lens to stabilize their footage, doing run and gun shots. Kai and the digital ref was definitely a prime example of that. They were using that combo for like almost 6-7 years, continuously, until they kind of switched over to GH5, GH4 and GH5, and ultimately to Sony. But they actually used that combination for a very long while. If you look back at the footage, and the Canon 5D with the 24 to 105 IS, and the footage isn't actually that stable. If you really look close to it, there's no comparison now to today's IBIS. Today's IBIS is way better compared to back in the days of the original IS stuff. But this sort of application, and slowly but surely, things got evolved a little bit further. And Olympus, good for them, they invented IBIS, the in-body image stabilization into the original cameras. Originally first started with 3 axes, and eventually moved into the 5 axis, which kind of like now is the default to all mirrorless cameras. Now, all the mirrorless cameras will have some sort of 5-axis, 3-axis stabilization, which I personally think is really a great thing to have, which is going to come into it in a bit. So let's go. Good morning, Raul. Good morning, Raul. Excellent. So good to see you there. And hello. Oh, you're a big IBIS fan. Okay, cool. Yep. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I like IBIS, and it really, you know what? There's one footage I'm trying to find that I made a small, kind of like a short movie in a way to test out the 5-axis stabilization in movie terms when the original EM5 Mark II came out. I didn't do it on the Mark 1 because the Mark 1 video option wasn't that great. So when the Mark II came out, I bought the Mark II, and I actually used it for a short kind of test just to see how smooth the 5-axis stabilization was. And to be honest, it blew my mind after that. And then I knew immediately how much I was missing in terms of the IBIS, because at the time, even though I bought the EM5 Mark II, I was still a Canon user professionally, so I kind of see the advantage there. So let's go for a little bit of the diagram or some of the images I dug up on the net. And oops, where is it gone? That's strange. Right, maybe in here. Nope. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. I can find that. So let's look at lens IS first. So Right, so this, oops, I've got something wrong with my software here. Okay, so Lens IS, as the name suggested, the image stabilization is actually a mechanism, have a or a group of elements inside the lens itself, which kind of almost like floating, it's kind of moving up and down, left and right, to compensate the movement and trying to correct the angle of light when it's hitting the sensor, so create a stabilization effect, which is, like I mentioned, is very effective to certain extents. They usually have 2 to 3 stops of image stabilization itself. Of course, the later generations of Lens IS system would have slightly higher compensation, like 4 to 5 stops, but you know, it's still nowhere near what Olympus can produce in terms of IBIS, especially when you combine with the lens to have the Sync IS. Similarly, in the Panasonic world, they have similar system as well, you know, which I'm going to show you a diagram in a minute. So this system is very effective, and I think you know, if you are having some sort of motion sickness that you cannot see an image that kind of like shaky and moving about, Lens IS will help you when you're looking through the viewfinder, trying to compose a photograph, especially at the tail end, because you will see a lot of movement there. Having a Lens IS, to me, like I mentioned before, you probably still need to use a faster shutter speed to capture that subject anyway, especially animals are erratic and they're very fast moving. In that instance, the Lens IS doesn't really help in terms of capturing a sharper image, but it will help you when you're composing the picture. But like I mentioned, if you can lock the axis X or Y, you can do very smooth and nice straight line panning shots, so that definitely helps. So let's go to another diagram here, and slightly smaller one. So this is the Olympus 5-axis stabilization. Of course, you can do X and Y, which I mentioned, in a similar way as the Lens IS system, and then you can have the yaw, you know, or the tilt and everything like that as well. So another 2 axes. So this is a very sophisticated system, and you know, I haven't seen anything like that until, you know, I really bought the original EM5. That was the first 5-axis stabilization camera. When I looked through the viewfinder, and I couldn't believe how stable it was, and it's a kind of weird thing. If you are still using DSLRs, using older SLRs, you haven't really experienced IBIS, you know, you would be shocked as soon as you hold a camera with that particular image stabilization system. And yeah, I gave it to some of my friends who are still using older DSLRs and things like that. You know, when they see the viewfinder, they say, hang on a second, you know, it doesn't move. And yeah, it doesn't move, I mean, unless you really shake it. But that's how good the actual stabilization is, and in the IBIS, especially in the Olympus. But I have to kind of reiterate or emphasize that the IBIS is also very depending on the actual format, like the sensor size. So the bigger the sensor, the harder it is to stabilize. You know, that's physics, you know, you cannot defy it. So even though you see like now full frame cameras or APS-C would have 5-axis stabilization, but when you see that they're claiming I have 5 to 6 stops of stabilization, but when you actually compare the footage between the full frame and the Micro Four Thirds IBIS, you can see immediately the benefit of having a smaller sensor, and the effectiveness and from the IBIS and a smaller system is definitely way higher compared to the bigger format. You know, even though they have almost similar sort of f-stop stabilization, you can't really compare with a smaller system. So if you really want a stable footage to maximize the effect, the smaller system would definitely beat out of the bigger system. They're still good, but nowhere near as good as the smaller system like the Micro Four Thirds. So that's why. So let's go to the Sync IS. So this is of course starting round about, you know, the EM5 Mark II era, the EM1 Mark II era, when they started to introduce the Sync IS. So you can actually combine with the Lens IS and the in-body image stabilization system, so it work in tandem together to create the maximum stabilization. And I'm telling you, this is nuts. And I have the 12 to 100 IS, and then when I was testing the lens, in my review on the YouTube channel, if you haven't seen that, go to check out my YouTube video on the 12 to 100 review. I had some footage there. I was really shocked just how stable it was. And the sync IS on the you almost basically increased by 1 stop. So if your camera has a default image stabilization of 6.5 stop, it becomes 7.5 stop in, for instance, in the latest EM1 Mark III and the EM1X. On the EM5 Mark III, we have 6.5 stop of maximum image stabilization, which is like nuts. Seriously, if you use it as a filming tool, tune it to the 100mm end, which is equivalent to 200 reach on a full frame system, you won't see any movement. It was so still, and it's almost unimaginable. But having said that, I don't know if you heard me talking about the 300mm lens, I think it's a couple of days ago, maybe last week. I said I did struggle a little bit, even with the Sync IS, but when you attach the MC14, the MC20 with the 300 and the body, so once you have that sort of magnification, you have that 600mm equivalent, and that is pretty long. So even with these maximum stabilization at 6.5 stop or 7.5 in the later body, I still struggle a little bit, and you still see a little bit of movement. But I can guarantee that if there is no image stabilization whatsoever, you will see the whole thing shaking like left, right, and center. It will be really, really difficult. I can't imagine people will be using that sort of focal length without any image stabilization. And like I mentioned, it's helping you to get the shot. By stabilizing the footage through the viewfinders, you can see exactly what you're capturing, rather than just jerky and shaky movement. But by then, if you're capturing like birds and animals running and things like that, you're probably using a very fast shutter speed anyway. So in that case, the image stabilization really isn't there to help you capturing a stable footage, but rather helping you to compose a shot and capture it properly. So that's cool. And finally, that's the thing that I was talking about, the 300mm lens when it's connected to a camera. And that's just basically telling you exactly what the axis that is trying to stabilize. I'm just bringing it up slightly bigger here. So the camera body, of course, is 5 axes. It will do your pitch, roll, the X and Y axes, and also the lens itself will do the pitch and yaw. So that is very, very cool that when you combine together and create that effect. And in the body, you can actually switch off one or the other, and so you can have just the lens IS, or you can just have the body IS. But frankly, if you have them both together, why switch them on both anyway? I don't see the reason why you can allow you to switch one off and not the other. I would just use everything, to be quite honest. Let's see what you guys are talking about a little bit. Trevor, you used to use Nikon, isn't it? So you have the VR lenses on Nikon, but of course when you pay, you pay for stabilization, of course. Don't forget, the stabilization also means not only just the weight increase or the size increase, but also money. So the cost of the lens will go up significantly. Because I remember because Trevor is you're a Nikon guy, but I'm a Canon guy. Well, I was a Canon guy. So I remember the IS and the non-IS version was about 300, 400 pound difference in price. So it's quite significant. And but people used to get it, but I got it just because sometimes I do shoot a slightly slower shutter speed if the subject is still enough. So I will need that sort of stabilization just to kick up a little bit. So instead of increasing ISO, I can just shoot it at slightly slower speed and still manage to get the shot cleaner. So that's kind of thing that I was using. I guess most pros would use IS or VR lenses back in the days, but nowadays you don't really need to, because the IBIS is so good now, and it's also why there are not many lenses on the Micro Four that has a lens IS, only for the longer focal length lenses, because the shorter one, the inbuilt body stabilization is already good enough to do the job brilliantly. Like everything that I use now, I don't see a major problem of in terms of shakiness, jerky movement and things like that. Even for filming, I think the IBIS is really brilliant. Let's see what else in here. Burana, you have something here. I never thought I could take sharp image 2 seconds. Right. Remember, I think was it 3 weeks ago now? I asked you guys for a long exposure challenge and in my YouTube channel. So there were people. Who was it? Was it Trevor and hi Martin? And I think one of you gave me like a 21-second shot. Was it you, Trevor? I can't remember now. And no, not 21. You mean like what was it? I'm trying to remember. 8 second? Not 21 second. That's ridiculous. Something really ridiculous anyway, and I couldn't believe it. I was managing for about 4 seconds, no 2 seconds, something like that. And but it's interesting, how effective is the image stabilization. But also there's a trick as well, no, or not trick, but a common knowledge. If you're a photographer, you know exactly what you do with your lenses, and you understand your focal length and everything else. You will know that any image stabilization will be affected by the focal length. Yeah. So even though there is 6.5 stops, but the 6.5 stop will be more effective in a wider focal length. Yeah, so if you're using a 7-14, for instance, or the 12 f2 prime or anything wider lens, the 6.5 stop would be in almost like a tripod shot. You can't really shake it because it's really stable. But if you're using the 6.5 stop on a 300mm lens, you won't get the same kind of stable footage because it's just the focal length. And that's why it's still shutter speed related. I remember that I saw some Facebook people were posting some photographs and saying, "Oh, my IBIS didn't work because my 300mm lens looks blurred. Everything just looked soft." When I actually saw the image that she posted, and I thought, "Look, this is actually a camera movement. It's actually you moving. The image spacing is fine." Because your shutter speed, because you actually list out the EXIF data, and then you are using 1/50th of a second shooting a 300mm lens on a Micro Four Thirds, equivalent to 600mm. So like, there is still movement, that the camera body cannot compensate. You still need a slightly faster shutter speed. Look, it's 6.5 stop. You can calculate back. How much 600mm on a full frame. What sort of shutter speed you need to capture a sharp shot? Pin sharp, no movement, no camera shake. You need probably quite a lot of speed there. You probably need 1,000th of a second, to do 1/800th of a second or 1/600th of a second just to capture that shot. Then you minus that for 6 stop. You probably still need relatively faster shutter speed, not 130, well, not 150. That is just too slow there. You need probably 1/100th to minimum just to get that sharp shot there if you want. So people still don't understand that. They just thought, oh, I can take 2 seconds. People all said IBIS can capture 2-second shots, but not if you have a longer focal length. That doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So Trevor, you did 15 seconds. Yeah, I remember that. That's nuts. How can you do 15 seconds? Well, I was using wide angle lens and I was leaning on something. I still couldn't do. I think I did try 10 seconds, but I couldn't make it to 10 seconds. It's just ridiculous. And Brad, did you try something? Did you try? You said it wasn't for 14 seconds. I'm not entirely sure, but it was fun. It was really cool that I saw so many of you did like 6 second, 8 second easy. I've seen some of the ridiculous numbers when I troll through some of the Micro Four Thirds forums and things. I just curious to see how long people can actually hold the camera while maintaining a sharp image. People were going some nuts numbers there. I do believe there was a longest thing was about 20 seconds. I'm pretty sure I've seen something like that, 21 seconds. 21 seconds. You're holding the camera like this for 21 seconds. I can't do it. I can't do it. A few seconds, yes, maybe it's okay. Yeah. Ralph said people need to be real. Well, yeah, of course. I think this is just for a bit of fun. I don't think you can actually be any productive or creative where you're just trying to beat that number. But I think it's just a little bit of fun that you can just it just showcase how much you can push the camera into stabilization. And but of course, in reality, if you want to do something practical, you're not going to have that sort of durations in a shot. Like if you really want to do a long exposure shot, very long shutter speed, so to speak, and I will put it on a tripod still, and to get a proper photograph, because you can then not limit it by the time, and because seriously, if you're holding that for about 15-20 seconds, you actually do feel tired, because you're trying to tense the body up, you're really trying to hold it as still as possible. I don't think I can do longer than, let's say, 10 seconds, right? Black technology. And I'm on the camera IBIS only, and I didn't get it beyond 1.5 seconds. You know what, Brad? I have a bit of shaky hands, but that's why I can probably do about 2-3 seconds max. But I think I did try 4 seconds if I use a wider lens, let's say 7-14 at 7mm. Like I mentioned, that if you use a wider focal length, the image stabilization will be more effective. And so if you use a really wide lens, you will be able to do a bit longer. I wouldn't say a lot longer, but a bit longer. I guess the 8mm fisheye, you can probably do a lot longer as well, so that will be something. And you say black technology. That could be, that would be the new term, right? I think I should advise Olympus, change the name of the IBIS now. Should we call it the Olympus Black Technology? That would be quite fun. And let's see what Trevor's saying now. We used to have an old guy come to a club session, just shaking hand. You can show that gentleman, like use this camera, you'll be able to get sharp shot every single time, right? And oh, by the way, I want to show you guys something, because I finally received my second dongle, the Cheng dongle that I have right here, and I have a second one because I ordered it 2.5 months ago, and it finally arrived and yesterday. So I opened it up, so I now be able to demonstrate with 2 cameras connecting to this. So I just want to quickly show you this, and it's really cool. Remember, if you don't have the EM1 Mark III, I just want to show you the IAF, because a lot of people have been asking me about the IAF, how good it is and things like that. So I have the EM1 Mark III connected to my second line here, so I'm going to bring it in now so you can see it. So let's go here. Right, let me just close this up. So you can see that in here now, and the moment I have the box right here, let me just close up these box here, the top pick spot. There you go. Right, so you can see that the face detect is actually on the mode. This is on movie mode. In movie mode, you really can't see the eye being highlighted. So if I switch it to photo mode, like let's go to aperture priority. So immediately you can see the eye being highlighted. So this is actually pretty cool. But unfortunately, even if I set it to CAF at the moment, and I have to half press the shutter speed to enable the continuous focus. So like even if I move in and out, you won't see that being focused continuously. Only movie mode will allow you to do that. So what I need to do is to half press the actual shutter button. So if I move in and out now, you should be able to just track my eyes and continue to focus as when I'm moving about in and out. So you can see it's actually very good. So even if I move really far, you can still see my eyes being highlighted. That's really cool, right? And so yeah, so you can see it's actually pretty effective, right? It's actually a really cool thing to do. Although that you're trying to drive me nuts now, the little box is kind of like going left and right and center. But the thing is, this is what everybody else does, all these eye focus and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Then I'm able to demonstrate that, because I'm even be able to show you the setting behind it and all the other stuff. Now with the second Cheng that connecting to my streaming, now I will be able to show you a lot about the setting stuff that I'm doing, because I was hoping to demonstrate a lot of stuff with you guys, but I was unable to do so because I was lacking a second input here. So now I have the second input, but more importantly is that I have a wireless system that will allow me to take the camera away from my screen. So that would mean I will be able to take the camera out in my back garden, even though it's a bit of a mess at the moment, and but I will be able to take it out and do some live demonstration. So you guys should be very interested in my next few stream, and because I will be able to do some live demo. That that will be cool, right? And so I've been waiting for this to happen for 2 months, and so now I'm finally able to do it. And the wireless system just arrived also as well yesterday, so I'm going to test it out to see how it works, because it might take me a few days to familiarize with the settings and get the correct range as well, because I don't know how far the wireless system would work in terms of transmitting the image signal from the camera to the computer. So I need to test a lot of the stuff out to make sure that I'm able to do the live demo, for instance. So that's cool, right? So now I can have 2 screens going on in here, and then they're both Olympus, and so I'll be able to do different camera settings, different, like I can demonstrate on EM5 Mark III or EM5 Mark II, Pen F, all the other stuff with HDMI output. I'll be able to demonstrate everything, including all the settings from the cameras and backhand and everything like that, even the menu button. And if I just go that, I think that the menu button, so yeah, everything works, right? And so that is awesome. And now I don't know which screen I'm looking, because I have both cameras pointing at me. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to, it's about 10 meters, maybe a little bit more. And Roman, hello Roman, wow, Roman's here from Germany, good talk. And well done. And I know a lot of you guys actually went to my Wednesday YouTube live stream, so that was pretty cool, right? You know, we had a really fun session there talking about all lenses. So next week, just to give you a bit of heads up, I will be talking about your favorite feature in Olympus camera. So let's have a talk about things that you enjoy the most, and what I may want you to do as well, if you can, send me a couple of images that you capture using that particular features that you like, because that reflects that how important that feature to you as a photographer, for you to capture whatever you want, and that is very, very good for me. I can give you a little heads up as well. I like, of course, in the IBIS, of course, and also in terms of photography wise, I like the live ND. I do like it, and I also do like the live composite. These 2 features I really enjoy using, and also, and of course, Roman, of course, I remember you, and also the could be things that you may want Olympus to develop in terms of feature-wise. We talked about cameras and lenses in my last YouTube live stream. So maybe the next week we're going to talk about features, more specifically features. What's the feature you would like Olympus to develop? And then that's another thing. Maybe I could kind of translate the message over to Olympus and see whether some of this will filter down to the R&D. Eventually will be implemented into some of our future Olympus cameras. How's that? That would be quite cool, right? I got a lot of stuff that I would like Olympus to implement, and but we all have wish lists, right? But if you don't ask, you never get. So it's better to have something ready, and then we can give it to Olympus and ask them to, okay, look, these are what the consumer wants, and see if anything that's feasible or anything you're already in development, maybe just to bring it out to the real world, so to let people enjoy something that you invented. So that would be quite nice. I want voice activated shutter. you know what? That would be quite cool, right? And see, Ralph Return say, will you talk about features Olympus can improve? I think this is next week. I'm trying to do features, Olympus features next Wednesday. So I'm going to post it on my community page. So get ready to leave some comments there, list out things that you would like to talk about, things that you enjoy the most. And if you can send me your photo with the features that I'm trying to get my email now. Where's my email gone? There we go. So this is my email, and send it over to me. And so like let's say the feature that you like the most in Olympus cameras or Micro Four Thirds or anything else, and tell me about what sort of system what sort of feature you use to capture that sort. For instance, light composite, for instance, IBIS, because it's a long exposure handheld shot, maybe high res mode, handheld high res, or a tripod high res. Pro capture, and things like that. Drop me an image. Tell me what feature you capture that with, and we can have a fun discussion about everything. Because I'm really curious what's the most popular features that among all the Olympus users, and we'll see what they like the most in terms of features. I know a lot of people use light composite for, let's say, light paintings and stuff like that, because it's really, really cool. And okay, Brad, my community page, let me just bring up your thing. My community page is actually within YouTube. So if you go to you have to use a actually mobile phone app. The YouTube app will have that as well. So you go to my channel. Right in the top, there is a bunch of tabs there. So you can have the video page, you have the home page, and then you will see community. If you click on that, you'll see my post there, and you can comment that accordingly. If you're not, you go to the web browser on your desktop computer, go to my channel, the actual channel page, and then you will see again on the top there will be several tabs there. You'll see community there. Click on that, you'll see a whole bunch of posts I made over the past weeks and so. So you'll be able to comment on them and leave me some comment. But in terms of photo, you have to submit through my email. So if you want to drop me an email and with your image and tell me what feature you used to capture the particular photo, then we can have some fun about it. And also, you know, in the community page, I will ask you what you want Olympus to develop in terms of features. It could be, I don't know, like what Ralph just said. A voice-activated shutter. How's that? That would be right. That would be cool, right? And that is something. And as a panoramic feature, is yeah, but I actually do agree with you, and I think they should work on a panorama shot. And I did try it. I didn't like it myself either. So you're very right there, Roman. And I didn't like because you know, in terms of smartphone, it's so good now, right? You just basically just pan around. It's just automatic. Everything just seems so smooth. And but even though you still have to kind of hold it almost like flat, you know, that will create the better shots. So it's still better to put it on a some sort of tripod, you know, just to kind of pan across it. You get a perfect horizon. That'll be really nice. And especially if you're shooting something with a line like sea, you know, if the horizon level, yeah, it would be quite nice to have a nice straight panoramic shot. But the Olympus camera is a little bit fiddly, and in the stitching it isn't nowhere near as good as the latest smartphone either. So you're quite right there. I think that feature is actually should be good by now, because seriously, a lot of competitions out there are actually doing a much better job, like you mentioned. Even smartphones, you know, and since 2-3 years ago, the smartphones are even better than the panoramic features in the Olympus camera, even the latest ones. So this is something that they should be upping the game just a little bit, because I know this feature has been used quite a bit. Although having said that, you know, Olympus would probably argue, right, if you're really serious about your panoramic photo, you'll be putting the things on a tripod, you'll be taking multiple photographs and do it in post, you know, using Photoshop to stitch them together. To an extent, yes. But you know, a lot of people maybe just want to post on photo, for instance, social media immediately, you know, and then the JPEG would help. So that means they need in-body processing. So that means that they will still need a very good software behind it to stitch all these photos and things like that, merge them together to a better shot. So yeah, I guess this is a very valid comment, and that's very cool. And let's see. But you do like the lifetime live composite. I think they are really, really good. Can do classical lenses. Ooh, you're talking about lenses again. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, they are really good, right? Back in the 4-3 era, you know, the 152 is really a cool lens. I personally haven't got one. I do like to buy one, and I can still buy one new in the UK. So, but they're so dear. They're so expensive. I can't afford it, you know, at the moment. And the 14-35 f2 will be another nuts, right? But you know, I think a lot of people has been rumored about these big aperture wide zoom, you know, because Panasonic has the 10-25 1.7, and so it is feasible. It's possible to do it because Panasonic just done it. So I'm pretty sure that Olympus, if they want to do it, can do something similar. But of course, it will be huge. Anything big aperture zoom will be massive, and so you just have to prepare for it. You may need a bigger body to compensate the weight difference. That will be something. You're quite right there. You're quite right. So okay, yeah, you guys get the idea. So if you guys want to participate in my next Wednesday's YouTube live discussion on the Olympus features, send me some photos, and I will put something on my community page, so you will be able to comment on the features that you would like to see in the future, or things that you like the most, and that will be really, really cool, because I will be able to start discussing about certain features and talk about maybe IBIS, maybe live whatever, and over the course of the next few weeks, I'll be starting to demonstrate stuff live, because now I have the setup, right? I'm so happy I got the second dongle. It's so hard to get hold of. Like I mentioned to Ralph yesterday or Wednesday, they were absolutely sold out in the UK. I can't get them anywhere, and so I actually did order this some time ago, and it finally arrived. So it made my life so much easier in terms of demonstration. So that is pretty good. And okay, Trevor's going now, so bye Trevor, see you next week I guess, because the live stream will end today, and I won't do live stream between Saturday and Sunday. It's kind of my own time. I can do something else rather than just doing preparing for other like photography stuff. So it will be back on Monday between 11 to 11:30 a.m. GMT. That will be good. And Ralph wants a great star lenses. Oh, okay. What star lenses? You mean like shooting night sky stuff? Wider aperture kind of thing. And Burana also say just released a Pen F2 and a 17 with it. Oh right, okay. You know what? Yeah, I see. Ever since we talked about that on Wednesday, I think I did see some people commenting on my on the video after the stream, saying that there is rumor about the Pen F2. I would like to dig in a little bit more, personally, because I would. And but of course, even though if I know anything, like I mentioned before, because of the NDA, I probably would not be able to tell you anything. But I will be able to respond to anything that I can see in the rumor mill and in the rumor sites and things like that. So I just basically discuss about what I can see online. But in terms of real information, in terms of real release date or pricing information, anything like that, technical specification, I would not be able to talk about it if I know. And so I know people still trying to question me, trying to squeeze me, trying to get some information from me. But I keep telling them that no, sorry, because I'm an Olympus ambassador, I'm responsible for a lot of this information. I would not be able to tell you exactly what it is or when it is coming out and things like that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do that, because otherwise you get me fired. And let's see now, Roman. I can be on live stream with Rob Trek. You know what? I have been with Rob Trek twice, and then you might have missed it. I was with Rob, I think a couple of weeks ago when Joseph Ellis was there, and so I was a part of the three-way live stream there, and then also was with Rob Trek in January. Yeah, January, and then that was with Peter Forsgard and Robin Wong, and so I was actually in the live stream with Rob Trek a few times already. So we actually think about another one at some point. So you might catch me there as well. Burana saying the rumor is from UK. I think it's one of the magazines. I think, and because I saw the tag being Olympus UK. I did see the image, and then but like look, they can spread the rumor, but because I'm an Olympus ambassador, I would not be able to allowed to do anything like that, and I would not want to, damage anything. If people want to spread rumors and things like that, they're very welcome to do so. It's quite fun actually, and so that is pretty okay. Right, okay. I saw one of the live streams, and oh no, I saw both. The first one was too much for Rob. Yes, it was, and it was too much for me as well, because I think. Because the time difference, I was in Hong Kong at the time, so when he was doing the live stream, I think Robin and I were still asleep. I had to get up at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning to do that live stream, and you know how Rob can talk for a long time, and then so I didn't end up going back to bed until 5 a.m. and that was a really long time. I got really tired by the end of it. So the next day I still have to work, and I still had to go out to film something in Hong Kong, which is something that you will see very soon, because those stuff that I filmed will be live, I think today sometime. Not from me, there's a hint, but you will see very, very soon. So that's cool. Wow, that's quite a bit of talk today, which is fantastic. And let's see, is there anything that I missed there? And I think I got everything. That's cool. Fantastic. So yeah, you like my demo, yep, and I think the demo is pretty good. So I love this eye checking thing. It's just really awesome. It's la, 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 la. It's really cool. But like I said, I can't demonstrate at the moment, because the EM1 Mark III can also select face, from a group of faces. So like if the the actual scene itself got like more than one face, you know, there will be like, let's say you've got a line of people, you can actually select which one to focus. So just in case that person moving in and out a little bit, if you're using a, let's say a shallow depth of field lens like the 25 1.2 or the 45 1.2, you just worry that you may miss the subject's or the main subject's eyes, and you can enable selective face option. So that is really cool. So hopefully I can demonstrate that. I'm going to ask my twins to demonstrate. that will be quite fun. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. So hopefully, and I'll be able to do something pretty fun for you guys very soon. I'm still thinking which one I should be looking at. Let's go back to this. Oh, Barana has to go as well. That's good. Well, thank you for joining me, and stay safe. Yeah. I think I'm going to end the stream today now, and it's 11:45, so I've been going on for about quite some time now. Anyway, so you guys have a fantastic week and weekend, and yeah, enjoy yourself. Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy the sun a little bit wherever you are. In the UK, we have some brilliant sunny weather out. You know, we bought barbecue. So this weekend we may do some barbecue. So I don't know, you know, it will be the first time this year, and we'll never know. And wow, let's see. Last message here, Ralph. When the lockdown's over, want to use Pro Capture on American baseball. That will be cool, right? And then imagine using a longer lens, you know, if it would be really cool to capture some really cool action shots. I'm telling you, the Pro Capture is amazing, and to do that sort of thing, because you just don't know when the person's going to throw it, just in case you miss it. You know, you imagine you capture the ball just leaving the pitcher's hand. That would be awesome. Really awesome. And yeah, especially when you swing the bat, hitting the ball as well, that would be cool, right? And as well, so these are what Pro Capture are known to use in this sort of situation. It's just things that you cannot react in human reactions. And yeah, I can't wait to see. Ralph, please do, if you do manage to capture some American baseball stuff using Pro Capture, that will be awesome. You know, I would like to see that. That would be just something to my eyes, you know, just a sweet, you know, just so good to see things being used in the proper situations. And yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, cool. Right, guys, and I'm going to end my stream now, and you guys stay safe, really, and from the bottom of my heart, and you guys all stay healthy and enjoy the weekend as much as you can. I'm going to see you all back next week on Monday, and also remember, Wednesday will be my live stream on my YouTube channel. You're very welcome to join me there. It's all about Olympus features, so I'm going to post on my community page. Remember to comment there as well, and if you have any photograph that is captured with your favorite features from the Olympus camera, send it to this address on my screen right now, and that's it. There you go. So until next week, so guys, I shall see you and have a good weekend. Bye for now.